When people talk about the origins of economic thought, they usually mention the same names: Adam Smith, Karl Marx, maybe Aristotle. But very few people know this. Nearly 1,000 years ago, a Muslim scholar described the mechanics of modern financial crises with surprising accuracy. Inflation, currency manipulation, wealth inequality. And his warning was strikingly simple. When money loses its moral compass, societies begin to rot from within. Looking at the world today, that idea feels uncomfortably familiar. To understand Al-Ghazali, we need to imagine the world he lived in. The year is around 1100. Europe is fragmented, poor and politically unstable, still recovering from the early Middle Ages. But in another part of the world, a very different civilization is flourishing: the Islamic world, stretching from Al-Andalus in Spain all the way to Persia. Its cities are wealthy, markets are crowded, trade routes are alive with movement. Baghdad, Damascus, Cairo. These are not just cities, they are the economic and intellectual powerhouses of their time. Caravans carry silk, spices, silver. Scholars debate astronomy, philosophy, medicine. Wealth is growing, trade is expanding. But in the middle of this prosperity, some people begin to feel uneasy. One of those voices belonged to a man named Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, a philosopher, a jurist, a theologian, and one of the most influential thinkers of the Islamic Golden Age. Born in 1058 in Persia, Al-Ghazali rose quickly through the intellectual ranks. By his mid-30s, he was teaching at one of the most prestigious institutions in the Islamic world. But what made him remarkable wasn't his position. It was his willingness to question the system around him. Al-Ghazali looked at the world around him. Trade was expanding. Cities were becoming richer. Wealth was increasing. But something else was growing as well: an obsession with money. People were earning more, but finding less meaning. An economy that looked powerful from the outside, yet felt strangely hollow from within. And Al-Ghazali began asking a difficult question: what happens when a civilization becomes rich faster than it becomes wise? For Al-Ghazali, money was never meant to be worshipped. It was not a symbol of status. It was simply a tool, a facilitator of exchange. He compared money to a mirror. A mirror has no value by itself. Its value comes from what it reflects. Money works the same way. Its power does not lie in gold or silver. Its power lies in what it allows people to create, trade, and build together. One of Al-Ghazali's most striking ideas was this: hoarded money is dead money. Gold locked away in chests, wealth buried underground, treasure hidden behind walls. To him, this was not just useless, it was dangerous. Because when money stops circulating, economic life begins to suffocate. He described it as the freezing of society's bloodstream. Al-Ghazali also had harsh words for speculation: merchants who manipulated prices, those who created artificial shortages, those who profited from crises. In his view, this wasn't clever strategy, it was moral corruption. He once wrote, "Whoever profits from the suffering of others profits from corruption." And corruption, he believed, spreads like a disease, from markets to institutions, and eventually to the entire society. Al-Ghazali was not against trade. In fact, he believed commerce was natural and necessary. But it depended on one crucial element: trust. False weights, hidden defects, manipulated information. These practices destroy the foundation of markets, because in the end, every economy rests on a fragile but powerful force: trust between people. Al-Ghazali also criticized rulers who manipulated currency. In medieval times, many governments reduced the gold or silver content of their coins. Today, we call this something else: inflation. To Al-Ghazali, this was a form of theft, because when money loses value, the poorest members of society suffer the most, and trust in the system slowly disappears. What makes Al-Ghazali fascinating today is how modern his ideas feel. Wealth inequality, financial bubbles, inflation, declining trust in institutions. Technology has changed, markets are faster, but human behavior has barely changed at all. Nearly 1,000 years ago, Al-Ghazali offered a warning. A society can survive poverty, but it cannot survive corruption. Economies rarely collapse because money runs out. They collapse because trust runs out. And that raises an uncomfortable question. If Al-Ghazali were alive today, looking at our modern financial system, what would he say?